PCC is a community resource. We've been here for more than 100 years, helping people find their future through higher education. We offer programs for people of all ages, any stage of their career, whether you're fresh out of high school, whether you're still in high school, whether you're changing your career further down the path. PCC is just a place where people come to find themselves and to find their futures by learning new things and trying out new things. Just to be a part of that journey and help them find a way to be able to recognize their future. It's just really inspiring, I think, to see where they take their stories.
26, the oldest. 78 is the most recent. These are time capsules. We're open access. We accept all. No matter how old you are, no matter how you did in high school, we welcome you. We're funded by enrollment, but we also have 30% of our funding from the state is based on success metrics. So community colleges also get funding. Are we graduating our students in a short amount of time? Are our students persisting from semester to semester, which is a great thing to encourage more than just bringing people in, but having them succeed. Pasadena is a wonderful community to be in. My favorite part of this campus is our arts building. We have a beautiful arts building, an enclosed area, and the echo is so beautiful, and our students love to practice their instruments. So walking by that, you hear a variety of instruments which interestingly sound good together.
An increasing amount of student need related to things like family job situations changing, parents losing jobs or losing hours, students themselves losing opportunities for employment. So there was a lot of opportunities from federal and state funding sources that we could kind of be an intermediary and help students connect them to grants, emergency aid, things like that, depending on students' needs. So we've really seen students' need increase, but also our ability to help kind of come alongside and meet that need. We've seen that increase as well. And that's been a real important part of kind of keeping students engaged here at PCC and able to take classes.
Helping the student parents, that's something that's really near and dear to my heart. I was a student parent and I had a young child. So being there for the student parents, seeing them succeed is a great part of my job.
We've been providing them a little bit more resources, just tangible things, diapers, formula, gently used items for them. And then reaching out to other departments on campus that can also support them. For example, mental health. For them that they need it. Tutoring is huge because they usually have their little ones with them.
Tomorrow evening we're having university night. A lot of our students work, and so it's going to be after work, it's in the evening, and it's well attended. And so students make their way to get support, to meet with university reps, to really find out what they need. So it's not just the recent high school student who's that transfer student, but it could be the middle school student, it could be a dual enrollment student, again, or an older student who's returning. I think one of the stories that really stands out for me, so I started PCC as a counselor, and one of my first students was a young man by the name of Anson, who started PCC at the age of 12. He was a concurrent enrollment student. And I remember he came into the office with his dad, and he created his own educational plan. He handwrote what class he wanted to take the first term, and he took a foreign language. And so every semester, Anson took a course. He graduated from high school early, came to PCC and was with us for 1 year, and then transferred to UC Davis. Then went to USC Law School, and now he is a practicing real estate attorney here in LA County. And so to me, that's just a beautiful success story where students, whether they're 12 or whether they're a little bit older, can really start their bachelor's degree now. All schools do University Day or like a transfer day, but one of the things we like to do is we like to bring out a food truck, have really good incentives, whether it's gift cards or assisting students with the application fee because there are a number of students who may not have the resources to pay for that Cal State or UC application. So we try to embed those incentives in our programming to really make it worth the student's while. One of the exciting things about the honors program, it has an excellent transfer rate. Now, students who are in the honors program here at PCC have a higher chance of being admitted. For example, let's say it's just a regular student who wants to go to UCLA. Their admit rate is 23%. If they're in the honors program and they're going from PCC to UCLA, their admit rate is actually 63%. So they have a higher chance of getting a seat at that competitive institution. And so that's really huge. So one of the new and exciting things we're going to be building out is a Black honors cohort and a Latina honors cohort. You know, it's really important because I would say for our most marginalized communities, you know, even some of our API, Latina, African American males in particular, oftentimes have a goal to transfer, but for whatever reason, they're not able to cross that transfer finish line. So our goal is to really remove barriers and make it obtainable for them. For students who graduate from high school, they also have an opportunity to graduate from PCC at the same time. So last year we had a group of 7 from John Muir High School, and they were able to complete their high school A through G requirements and their associate's degree for transfer, which is huge. Some institutions call it middle college. And so you'll notice unified school districts might allow students just to take a few classes, but I believe PCC and folks from PUSD really wanted to take it to the next level. So from what I understand, a good majority of the 9th grade students at Muir start out with a PCC course. And so it's more of an opt-out than an opt-in. And I think that's huge, especially for you know, our students of color who may not get tapped on the shoulder to take a college course. But the way PUSD, and in particular John Muir, they've really set their students up for success.
Because of the sheer amount of, well, for starters, the sheer amount of people that are incarcerated across the country and specifically in the state of California, the amount of prisons, the private, non-private, that exist in the state that outnumber the number of educational institutions that are available to people in the state. And really more so because of the fact that there is insurmountable data that proves that education is the key to reducing recidivism. So recidivism is the rate or the likelihood that one is to go back into prison, go back into incarceration. More or less, anybody that receives any type of education while they're incarcerated, their recidivism rate drops dramatically, close to half. If they receive an associate's degree while they're incarcerated, that recidivism rate drops to about 13%. And if they receive a bachelor's degree, that recidivism rate then drops to 3%. And if they receive anything beyond that, like a multiple bachelor's degree or an advanced degree, that recidivism rate drops down to nearly 0. So we know that education works. We know that the carceral system affects everybody, whether it was you who was incarcerated, someone that you love was incarcerated, or no one that you know was incarcerated. You are paying for it through your taxes. So it is hitting your pockets and it is hitting your bank account. So incarceration affects everybody, and all we are doing is providing the necessary service and efforts to reduce the recidivism rate amongst the number of people that are affected and most vulnerable by the carceral system. My name is Raul Ibanez. I'm the program coordinator for the Community Overcoming Recidivism Through Education program at Pasadena City College, otherwise known as the CORE program. We're part of the Rising Scholars Network, which is a network of multiple community colleges across the state of California that specifically service formerly incarcerated and system-impacted students. Specifically here at PCC, what we do is we have a team of tenured faculty, managers, classified staff, part-time staff and volunteers that work really hard to ensure that the population that we serve gets a holistic service that ranges from needing to expunge or dilute a criminal record, providing letters of support to parole officers or court hearings, ensuring that students are connected with people who specialize in housing support, addiction support, access to food and basic needs, all while providing academic support, mentorship, counseling that most resource centers on campus do. What I am most proud of, though, that CORE does is something that can't really be quantified with numbers or data, which is really creating a sense of community for our students, specifically folks that come from the carceral impacted background. That's a very punitive background, a very shameful background, a very ostracizing background, and we work really hard to demystify what higher education is and what can be for someone who comes from that background, and to empower our students to know that they have the same amount of access and mentorship and guidance to succeed at PCC and beyond PCC than any other student that steps foot on this campus.
I think it's the sense of belonging and the sense of familiarity that they get, the acknowledgement. Sometimes on campus it can be an isolating experience, but to walk into a space and be greeted and feel welcomed and feel acknowledged is empowering, right? And it helps students feel like I see myself reflected here on this campus. I know that there's a space that highlights me and my experiences, and they feel valued. My job is really to create a campus environment and support faculty, staff, administrators, and students, and having an environment where Black students are welcomed on campus and have a sense of belonging and are achieving their goals that they've set out to accomplish. What this opportunity is for students is it's about exposure, right? How can students, while they're learning inside of the classroom, have experiences that are going to also inform and educate them outside of the class? So we do one of the things that I get excited about are the travel opportunities, right? We do an HBCU tour in the spring semester, get students out of California, allow them to experience and see a new part of the country and the culture of historically Black colleges and universities. We do a convention travel to the National Society of Black Engineers. Holds an annual convention. We get students there, getting them to network and see themselves in some of these roles and opportunities.
We do have academic tutoring. So for math and English, we have 2 tutors that help with students, their specific hours. So we let the students know, how does this impact them? Sometimes students would rather be in a space that they feel comfortable with. Yes, we have resources on campus. Some prefer to be here. With these safe spaces, and we actually have a map, specifically what a safe space is. We do have a mutual restroom, and that would be here in our building downstairs. We do provide students with a key password. Some students don't feel comfortable with specific restrooms given their what they identify with. So we want to provide that safe space for students. Let them know that it's okay, right? We can provide these resources. We're here to advocate for these students, right? We're here to advocate for every student. Students have preferred names as well as preferred pronouns, and we help students here at PCC changing their gender markers or changing their names, preferred names. We have instructors, not just staff or faculty. So having that support and letting students know that they're not alone, right? There's a campus-friendly space. It's what really encourages me to stay here on campus and kind of pursue doing that ongoing support system, right? And not just for them, but for myself as well.
to have the experience of being heard for the first time seems really important to me. And what I hope all of our students who engage with our service are able to take with them is the idea that you deserve to be listened to in a mental health space. You deserve to have your full story and self understood. And even if we're not going to be able to do that here, or it's not going to be completed here, that they take that with them into the world. We provide psychological services for the campus. Much like any other college counseling center, we provide short-term therapy typically. If a student is looking for services, they can come in and we try to get them connected with the right kind of services. So we either do that service in-house, we provide that therapy service here in a short-term therapy model, or we help connect students who need a different level of care to resources in the community. We are responsive to kind of the first order level of crisis, so that's always available to students. When students come in person, they're available to access crisis during our open hours, but they can also call us in the evenings. We contract with the service so they can call us and are connected to a live therapist over the phone in the evenings, which is fantastic. For us, our model of equity is one that really tries to take into account who the person is and how can we meet them in the best way possible, which may mean that we're not treating them here. It may mean that we're helping them get to the next place that is going to treat them. But we try to take all of those factors into account to make that recommendation in a really grounded, trauma-informed and data-informed way.
Our Veterans Resource Center, I don't know if you know, is the #1 Veterans Resource Center in the state of California, running consecutively for the last 12 years. And we've just moved up in ranking to #3 in the nation.
We really do a lot to serve those folks who have served in the armed forces here and to give them the future they need to be able to transition to the civilian world, to step away from whatever service they had before and start the new chapter of their lives when they're going to be working in the, in the Pasadena area, whether it's, in a position in business or in government, or whether they go on to higher education. We offer classes, we offer workshops, we offer camaraderie.
This college has been extremely giving, has done amazing work supporting our veterans. We are probably the first community college in the state of California that actually had a district-funded budget. We have an amazing space, that incorporates a lot of folks from the outside. So we partner with the Department of Rehab, we partner with the VA. We have 2 outside mental health providers that come in, and we have case management and tutors. So it really is, our certifying official is in there. We have 9 VA work studies. So it's just that looking at the veteran as a whole, giving that veteran a place to be and to help transition. We have a class called Boots to Books. We have taught that the longest in the nation, taught by a combat Vietnam veteran with a doctorate in psychology.
Whether if you're just coming out of high school or like myself, you're coming 10 years later, it can be really stressful. PCC was voted the #1 best for vets for more than a decade now. And I was really nervous about going back to school. And so I want to make sure if I'm going to be going back to school, that I'm going to a place where I feel more comfortable and where I belong more. And considering PCC was the #1 for vets, I was like, that's where I'm going. I'm a Marine Corps veteran and president of the Veterans Club. The VRC, it's its own program here within PCC that's actually signing you up for these programs, helping you actually sign up for classes. But with the club, it's a separate entity outside of the Veteran Resource Center. And it's more of a place where veterans can essentially hang out, communicate, have fun, and then, just give them a place where they can just feel comfortable. You can do that at the VRC as well, but this is a way to just do that completely outside of all of that. There's a couple of things I was battling as a veteran that I knew that was going to get in the way being here at school. And what they've done is they've given me these resources to make sure that I'm comfortable and I'm going through school with less stress as possible. They do a really good job at bringing in professors that really do care. And, and that really does help a lot with students when it comes to sitting down in class. Like, you actually have a good professor that cares. and that helps out a lot. And then just all the different clubs that are involved, like there's a place for anybody that's here at PCC. You're always gonna find your circle, you're always gonna find your club. And that's really nice, and that's a good thing to have. There's anime clubs, film clubs, but yeah, these are things I would have never considered doing, but PCC has exposed me to all these different things that are available like that, and then now I get the opportunity to do that, so it's really cool. And then on Saturday, we came out here to PCC, had a big get-together. We had all these food trucks, music, bunch of socializing, so it was a good time. Yeah, I have so many different ideas, different things I want to pursue. So there's a few things that I'm doing. One of them, I'm working on a transfer degree for film, and I'm going to be transferring to CSUN, hopefully. And then as well, I'm also pursuing a business degree as well. So they're giving me the platform to be able to pursue both, which is pretty cool. So I'm not just set on one thing. I can do multiple all at once.
As a 40-year-old coming back to school, I started the Veterans Club and went from a student Veterans Club president to the director of Veteran Services, then over here. I've been at this college about 17 years.
Folks are not born knowing how to go to college. You have to learn how to be able to find your professor and ask questions. What is it to go to office hours? What is the syllabus? What are the expectations of me once I come into this place that's totally new after I've been in high school or a traditional K-12 career, or I've taken some time off?
There's always that concern, but I don't think I can afford it. I don't think there's financial aid out there for me. My family doesn't make a lot of money. I don't think we can connect the dots. I would say just always encourage students to ask and to bring them to campus, to bring them to our office, because for so many students who think that cost is going to be the thing that keeps them out of college, we've probably got some answers. We probably have some help and some assistance, and we can lend a hand. So the more we can just encourage students just to show up and ask some questions, we can help them.
The PCC Foundation is the fundraising arm of PCC. If folks are interested in participating financially with the college, the foundation is here to help support that. They have programs for scholarships, they support faculty projects, and they just provide ways for the community of Pasadena to get more involved with the college and play a role in crafting our programs and helping our students find their way.
There's thousands and thousands of dollars available for students in terms of scholarships. And so we work really closely with PCC Foundation. They handle the application and kind of sorting through and getting students connected to the application. And then we work with Foundation to make sure the funds are going from the donor or the organization right onto the student's account, and in many cases refunded to the students to help them pay for those educational expenses that they encounter throughout the semester.
Financial guidance is one of the workshops that happen, and we're continuing to bring back every semester because it's hard. It's hard to navigate that for yourself, but then some of our parents might be also have teens, older teens, so also helping them how to be financially sound, how to manage their money as they're getting older. So anything like that we can provide them, then we will definitely be doing.
I really want to just make sure we as a college give students as many opportunities as possible. So then that way, at the end of the day, when they get all of their financial aid letters, and I say put it on the dining room table, and then with their families, they can decide, okay, I'm going to go here, and this is going to be the best for me.
This is our 100th anniversary. We are so thrilled. This institution is part of the Pasadena community for a century, and we feel young. We feel young, and we have so many ideas. We are just bubbling with ideas and plans for the future. So we know we're going to be here another 100 years at the very least.
Whether you are 15 or 115, we have a class for you to be able to come here and learn something new.
Education will get us everywhere we need to go, right? It'll bring us out of places and push us to the skies, right?
We are very accessible, so we welcome everybody to come because we do open to the community, and so we're always open for tours and anybody who's interested in coming to see us.
I feel, yes, we have these resources, we have these advocates, but don't forget, yes, we're here for the students, but we're also here as a whole community at Pasadena. So if you want to stop by, you want to present on a workshop, introduce yourself. Yes, we didn't have these spaces when we were in undergrad, but now we do. So let's advocate for our students, take advantage of this space.
It's a privilege to do this type of work here. And there's so much more work that is yet to be done.
To continue redefining how we define success and making sure that it's aligned with the needs of our students, you know, and so doing that holistically, right? It's not just the PCC in isolation, but it is our community, it is our families, it is our elected officials, and so continuing to do that good work and be a bridge builder for community.
Community college is such a unique space. Sometimes it's a bridging space for people, sometimes it's a returning space or a reinventing space for people. PCC has this legacy and this history of helping people fly in a different way. You know, we see students who are 18, 19, 20 years old here, kind of typical, straight out of high school student, but we also see folks in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s who come in and are trying to redo something or start anew or refresh. And it's amazing to be a part of that story and that history, and to join in a long lineage of people who have been pushing this community into a better space.
I love my job. I love being able to help students who know exactly where they want to go. We have some students who say, hey, I'm going to an Ivy League. We'll help you get there. And we're passionate about those students who are just trying to find their way. And so for this 100th year, I think there's more work for us to do, but it's really partnering and collaborating, I think, on a different level that we haven't before. So I know for our office, we're partnering with the Community College Chancellor's Office and the Cal State Chancellor's Office. But how can we better partner with the community?
We're not done. There's a lot still that we need to do to be able to realize all that we can be together. But just to think about and reflect on all of that work that people have taken to be where we are today, that's not something that happens automatically. That takes a lot of intentionality on people's parts. And the folks who serve in the city, the folks who walk down the street and talk to their neighbors, the nonprofit community, the faith-based community, there's so much care and love in this city. And celebrating 100 years of PCC has been a chance to think about how that came to be and just how you managed to make that happen in a place. I think it's just a magical thing. So it's just been a lot of fun to tell those stories and to think about that over this year's celebration we have here.